From Camrys to Tacomas, I've seen over 3,000 Toyota suspensions fail, one corner at a time. The full repair will cost you between $2,800 and $5,500. And trust me, it doesn't happen all at once. Bushings crack, shocks leak, ball joints loosen, and it all adds up fast. But it's preventable. In this video, I'm going to show you 10 signs that your suspension is failing and share secret tips to avoid these issues. These are the same tricks your mechanic won't tell you because they don't want you to avoid the repair bill. Some cost just $14, others take less than 5 minutes. And don't skip tip number 4. It's the one that saved my Highlander from a $1,200 control arm job last year. Let's get into it. No matter how gently you drive your Toyota suspension systems do start wearing out if you don't follow regular maintenance. It's just part of the aging process. The system is made up of multiple components: shocks, struts, control arms, and bushings. And while they rarely fail all at once, each part has a limited lifespan. One by one, they start to wear down. If those small issues are ignored, they chip away at your suspension's performance, leading to rough rides, poor handling, and uneven tire wear. Most suspension components are built to last somewhere between 50,000 and 100,000 miles. That range depends on driving conditions, climate, and how much weight your vehicle regularly carries. Daily commuting on smooth roads keeps things lasting longer. But rough terrain, winter salt, and heavy loads will wear those parts out much faster. When this happens, your Toyota will start showing signs that things aren't right underneath. These are the most common suspension problems I see in the shop. Ignore them, and you're in for a rough ride and an expensive repair bill. Sign number 1. Steering feels off. If your steering wheel starts feeling loose, shaky, or stiff while turning, there's likely something wrong with your suspension. Toyota's steering and suspension systems work together. When one part starts failing, the other feels it too. Sign number 2. The car pulls to one side. If your vehicle starts drifting left or right while you're driving straight, that's a red flag. It usually means the wheels are out of alignment or a suspension part isn't doing its job anymore. Keep driving like that, and you'll wear down your suspension a lot faster. Sign number 3. Uneven or weird tire wear. Tires should wear out evenly, but if you notice cupping, bald spots, or one side wearing faster than the other, the suspension may be the problem. Worn-out shocks and bushings mess with wheel alignment and how the car handles weight, and the tires take the hit. If you made it this far, then consider liking this video, giving it a thumbs up, and subscribing to my channel. This helps me bring you more honest car advice. Sign number 4. Leaking around the tires. Fluid leaking near the wheels, especially around the shocks or struts, is a serious sign. These parts are filled with oil to keep your ride smooth. Once they start leaking, they're on their way out. Sign number 5. Clunks, knocks, and creaks. Hearing strange sounds when going over bumps. Those are worn suspension components talking. Squeaking, clunking, or knocking usually means that bushings or ball joints are loose or broken. It only gets worse if left unchecked. Sign number 6. Bouncing. After bumps. When you go over a speed bump, your Toyota should bounce once and settle. If it keeps bouncing or feels like a boat rocking on water, the springs or struts are worn out. They're no longer absorbing shock like they should. Sign number 7. One side looks lower. A sagging corner or a side sitting lower than the rest often means a spring has snapped or collapsed. It throws off the car's balance and makes everything else work harder to compensate. Sign number 8. Sways too much in turns. If your Toyota sways too much while taking a curve or feels like it's tipping, the suspension isn't holding the body steady. That's a sign the stabilizer bars or shocks are worn out. Sign number 9. Nosedives or rear squats. Under hard braking, the front end shouldn't dip dramatically, and when accelerating, the rear shouldn't squat like it's sinking. Both are signs of bad shocks or struts. Once they lose pressure, they can't control motion like they should. Sign number 10. Bottoming out. If your undercarriage hits the ground even on small bumps, your suspension is done. At this point, the springs and shocks can't support the vehicle's weight anymore. It becomes dangerous because the oil pan, transmission, or other parts can take damage, and you might lose control of the car. Now, here is a complete proven formula you can use to avoid these problems. Number 1. Lighten the load. Car trunks have changed a lot over the years. Back in the 1990s, almost every new car came with a full-size spare tire. Then manufacturers switched to smaller donut spares. Now, only 40% of new cars in the US come with any kind of spare tire at all. In the UK, that number drops to just 3%. Instead, most newer Toyotas now include sealant kits and inflators. The reason? Automakers want to reduce weight to improve fuel economy. While it might sound like a way to cut corners, the truth is, weight matters. Every extra pound in your trunk puts more pressure on your suspension. That added stress compresses the springs and shocks, reducing how much they can move and absorb bumps. Over time, that constant pressure leads to worn-out bushings, sagging springs, and leaking shocks. If left unchecked, it won't just mess up your ride comfort, it'll cost you thousands to repair. You'll also notice your tires wearing unevenly, your car struggling to accelerate, and your overall control getting worse. That's why it's smart to keep your trunk light. Only carry what you really need, like an emergency kit and a few essentials. The rest, offload it as soon as you can. Less junk in the trunk means longer life for your suspension and a smoother drive in your Toyota. Number 2. Tighten those suspension bolts. Suspension bolts might not look like much, but they're the backbone of your entire setup. They hold everything in place: control arms, bushings, ball joints, you name it. But over time, those bolts start to loosen from road vibrations, especially if you drive on rough or unpaved roads. If you're taking your Toyota off-road or hitting bumpy construction zones often, your suspension could wear out 38% faster. Here's what that means in real numbers. A suspension designed to last 50,000 miles might give up by just 36,000 miles. That's a serious drop. And it's not just about comfort. Loose bolts can lead to frame cracks, damaged bushings, alignment issues, and even complete part separation. That's how serious accidents start. The good news? It's easy to prevent. Next time you go in for a tire rotation, usually every 5,000 to 8,000 miles, ask the shop to retorque your suspension bolts. It might cost you an extra $100, but it's worth every penny. That one small step keeps your suspension tight, your tires aligned, and your Toyota safe on the road. Number 3. Keep rubber seals from cracking. Even the best suspension systems rely on rubber to stay strong, and that's where trouble usually starts. In your Toyota, parts like bushings, strut mounts, CV boots, and control arm seals are all made from rubber. They're built to last between 50,000 to 100,000 miles, but with time, heat, and road grime, they dry out and crack. Once that happens, the entire suspension starts wearing out faster. There's a simple mechanics trick that can keep those rubber parts soft and flexible. AT205 Reseal. It's not something you'll find in your Toyota owner's manual, but pros have been using it for years. AT205 is a special polymer that restores dried out rubber and helps stop leaks in seals and gaskets. Here's how to use it. Jack up your car and remove the wheel. Pour the AT205 into a spray bottle. Spray a light coat on all the rubber parts, especially the power steering boots, top of the struts, torsion bar mounts, CV axle boots, and rubber bushings in the control arms. One area to focus on is the lower control arm bushing. It's tough to access and costly to replace. You're looking at $1,300 or more just to fix 2 on a standard car, and much higher on a luxury model. Spraying these rubber components once or twice a year takes just a few hours, but it can save you thousands in the long run and keep your Toyota driving like new. Number 4. Check your power steering fluid regularly. Power steering fluid does more than just help you turn the wheel easily. In your Toyota, it plays a key role in protecting major suspension parts like the tie rods, control arms, and steering knuckles. When the fluid is clean and at the right level, it keeps those parts well lubricated and reduces internal friction. That means your ball joints stay tight, your tie rods stay strong, and your suspension stays stable. But when that fluid runs low or gets dirty, it becomes a problem. Dirty power steering fluid moves through the system at around 1/400 psi, and if it's full of grit, it can act like a liquid cutting tool. It'll eat away at bearings, hoses, and seals before you even realize something's wrong. When the fluid level drops too low, your steering gets stiff. That stiffness puts extra strain on the strut mounts and control arm bushings. Over time, it wears down parts that cost thousands to replace. That's why it's critical to check your power steering fluid once a month. Make sure it's not below the minimum mark and check the color. It should be clean, not dark or gritty. Most Toyotas recommend a fluid change every 3 years or 50,000 miles, but if you drive on dusty or unpaved road, you'll need to do it more often. This tiny bit of maintenance keeps your steering smooth and your suspension protected without breaking the bank. Number 5. Rinse off salt. If you want your Toyota suspension to last, there's one thing you can't ignore: salt. It's more damaging than potholes and rough roads combined. Whether it's from winter snow or sea air, salt reacts with moisture and oxygen to create rust. And once rust takes hold, it doesn't stop. It spreads and weakens the metal even before you can see it. Road salt loves to hide underneath your car, especially around the suspension and brake lines. When it builds up, it starts eating through metal, leading to corroded shocks, control arms, and mounting points. Replacing just a few of these parts can cost you thousands of dollars. Thankfully, there's a simple way to prevent all of this. If you live in a snowy area or near the coast, rinse your undercarriage once a week during winter or salt season. You can do it at home using a pressure washer, a car jack, and a water broom. All easy tools to invest in. If that's not an option, drive-through car washes with underbody sprays work too. But keep in mind they can run you about $20 per wash. Over time, that adds up fast. But here's the deal. Paying for a rinse now is a lot cheaper than paying $5,000 or more for a full suspension rebuild later. Rust doesn't wait. Keeping salt off your Toyota is one of the smartest suspension-saving habits you can start today. If you ignore your suspension and let problems build up, you could be staring down a repair bill between $2,800 and $5,500. And that's just for standard Toyotas, not luxury models. We're talking all 4 corners: shocks, struts, bushings, ball joints, the whole setup. By then, it's not just one part going bad. Everything's worn out, and it all needs replacing. It doesn't happen overnight. It starts small. Maybe a leak here, a loose bolt there, a bushing that cracks in the coal. But let it slide, and your suspension won't just cost you comfort, it'll hit your wallet hard. That's why the tips in this video matter. If you're enjoying this video, consider watching $0 Toyota Reset Trick Mechanics, hate that fixes everything, where I've shared 7 reset tricks mechanics use to restart your car's ECU.